Yo, man. So basically, I'm gonna be giving an in-depth analysis on Zizou versus Gyro because supposedly Zizou won or supposedly Gyro won. I've been hearing split opinions on this, and depending on who wins, I'm gonna have to move Gyro down and also move Zizou up, right? Yeah. So look, the entire point of this really is just to see whether or not I'm being biased whenever I'm giving my opinions, specifically on these debates. Supposedly there's this thing going around where like supposedly I'm biased to my friends and such, and it's like, okay, maybe, and I'm not even the type of person to deny it, maybe there is some like underlying bias there, like maybe I unconsciously like to think that my friends are smart, right? So maybe you could say because of that, then I'll also assume give the most generous interpretations to my friends, right? And maybe not extend that same sort of courtesy to people who are my friends. I doubt it's to that sort of extent, but yeah, I do accept that I do give some courtesy to my friends whenever I'm saying that, like, yeah, I'd like to think that they're smart. So whenever they say something and people think that, oh no, on face value that's stupid, it's like, well, obviously, because I already think they're smart, I'd also like to think that like maybe what they said verbatim isn't exactly what they meant. But for this whole video, I'm just going to be going over what exactly was said in the debate. It's a record of Ragnarok inverse debate. I don't particularly enjoy what listening to fiction debates. I don't particularly enjoy listening to any debate, but aside from my own, because I love hearing myself talk. I'm egotistical. Nobody likes it. Sorry. Anyways, but yeah, I'll just be going over who won. Hopefully, like Zizou did good in this debate. Hopefully, yeah. Zizou supposedly also thinks he lost to Error. So if Zizou loses to Error, then beats Gyro, then whoo boy, there's going to be a lot of changes on the big tier list. But yeah, let's start off with the video.
I'm recording right now, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, my position is simply that I think Poseidon is statistically stronger than Zeus, so therefore he's probably going to win.
Okay, you think Poseidon is stronger than Zeus, and you think that that's the reason for... hold on. I'm just telling you how we're Poseidon. It's not.
Yeah.
Let's write this down too. So we're also tracking. Poseidon is physically stronger than Zeus, therefore he is more likely to win.
And okay, there. Okay, yeah. So restate your thing again. I'm very sorry. Go for it.
How about can you also record, please? She's about to get molested.
I give you some members, bro, please.
Okay, well, I am getting some members.
Oh,
okay. Alright,
excuse me, I'm about to leave.
Nobody asked, bro. Ironically, nobody asked.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna record any scans. I have to go.
No, you're good. I'm also recording too, and
I'm recording as well. Yo,
yeah, shut up, Arjun, bro. This guy's trying to be involved.
Okay.
I just think it in my server.
Yeah,
just back to the topic. Gyro, you think Poseidon's stronger than Zeus, and as such, you think obviously Poseidon beats Zeus, correct?
Yeah, I think Poseidon just shows that he's statistically stronger than Zeus. That we probably wins. Yeah.
Statistically stronger. Do you think? Okay. So
he has better stats. He has evidently better stats than Zeus. Yes.
Evidently better stats.
Specifically speed. Yeah, specifically speed.
Okay, can you justify that for me?
Yeah, sure. So Sasaki just stated to be able to perceive any attack before that and react to it. And then Poseidon just blitzes the fuck out of Sasaki.
So, Sasaki, and whenever they say Sasaki, I'm going to assume they're talking about Kyojiro. Because, I'm pretty sure that's the guy who fought Musashi in that one manga, one other manga. But yeah, Sasaki can perceive any attack and gets blitzed by Poseidon. So the scale is Poseidon's movement, Sasaki's perception, Zeus's attacks. I mean, whether or not you think he can perceive the time stop punch, would that even be relevant, right? Because if Poseidon just perception blitz one shots the guy before he can even use the time stop punch, assuming like say that maybe might be time hacks or something where he can manipulate time, but if he just perception blitz one shots him before he can get off the time punch, then Gyro would also still win this. I mean, it would depend on whether or not he actually argues that like okay, he doesn't use it in character. I remember reading Record of Ragnarok like a long time ago and being really sad that Adam died, but yeah, if Gyro just argues that he just perception blitzes him before he can get off the punch, then he wins. But he'd also need a separate argument why he can one-shot him. But and I'm never sure if you can even link the durabilities of the characters to one another. But yeah, man.
Okay. He's probably faster than this. Yeah, sure. One sec.
Can you guys see VC scans?
I'm just gonna send it in the chat. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
20-man VC, as expected.
I'm pumped up, bro. I'm pumped, bro.
Same, I can't wait.
She's definitely pumping. Okay, here. It just stated that Sun is able to anticipate any attack, no matter how much you're thrown off. And then, sorry, it's not saying yet. And right.
Wait, hold on. What did he say? So it was stated that he's able to anticipate attack. Statement. Evidence. Sasaki anticipate every attack. I mean, it depends how like you're interpreting anticipate. If you mean by anticipate that he is able to predict every attack, that doesn't necessarily have to mean that his perception speed needs to be on par. Right, it could just be the case that he analyzes their... I mean, well, if he's analyzing their movements beforehand to determine how they're going to attack, he'd also need to be able to perceive them. Right, so I guess you could say that anticipation requires perception, so he perceives, then he's able to predict. But yeah, you can say he's also able to predict off of things which are external to like your attacks or something. Who knows how Record of Ragnarok people work with their prediction stuff. Alright, but yeah, he could anticipate every attack. That's the evidence.
Next, in the next panel, he just gets blitzed the shit by Poseidon. And then it's like
Okay, so if Adam had the fastest counter strike, Koji has the key ability to anticipate no matter how fast it strikes, no matter how you're thrown. Koji will have able to anticipate them and kill
you
off
not need to read this stuff.
Sorry?
I'm sorry. Anyway,
I prefer to read, bro. It's just fine.
yeah. Pretty clear.
I mean, okay, and then you obviously are showing examples of Poseidon, like, but this is very contextual though. The problem with this is that Hill explains explicitly why this happens, and it's because he performs a deep analysis on the character he's fighting and anticipates based on experience of the characters he's fighting. Obviously, here this is the first time he's fighting a god.
Okay, so he performs a deep analysis on whoever he's fighting and then anticipates this using with that information already acquired. This is the first time he's fighting a god, so
A fighter on the level of a god, and as such, he doesn't have like the chance to anticipate most of the stats. And this is why later on, when we see like he finally finalizes his scanning, Poseidon just can't do anything. Like, Poseidon gets like literally triple tap just due to like the scanning ability. Like, you're just.
I'm not sure about the last part, but when she says any attack and he can anticipate any attack, that would be indexed to the attack that she just saw with Adam and this.
Hold on, so that's why he can predict it. And when he finishes his prediction, he wins the fight. Wait, hold on. Now, I forget what he just said earlier.
Poseidon just can't do anything. Poseidon gets like literally triple tap just due to like the scanning ability. Like you're just.
I'm not sure about the last part, but when she says any attack and he can anticipate any attack, that would be indexed to the attack that she just saw with Adam and Zeus and whoever just fought before.
So anticipating every attack is indexed to the people who she's seen before. I mean, that's fine too. Like would it? Unless it depends again on how they are defining like what's it called, anticipate. Because if you just use by anticipate, that it means to predict, and I assume that his ability works off of his own like vision. Then it's like, well, obviously he needs to be able to perceive you to predict you, right? And if you're saying that, okay, well, I can. Like, he can predict everybody, or he can perceive everybody and then predict them. Right? That's how he's able to beat Zeus. Though that's how he's able to beat Poseidon. Then, like, obviously it would mean that he's able to perceive the people who, like, attack beforehand. But, yeah.
So, obviously he was already doing it before in his fight, like, as a human, he never fought a god before. But when she makes a general statement like that, and you want to specify to a specific time as a human, that just feels unfortunate and terrible. And I don't know about the last part. I just don't think that it's a necessary condition for him to actually know, or get someone to a certain degree to actually be able to react to them. Since he stated to be able to react to Zeus prior to that, I think
it has to be it has to be a necessary condition. So you make two claims, and I'm going to address both of them. Yeah. So the first thing you made was that it's every attack that she's seen. For one, that presupposes she can see Adam and Zeus fighting. For one, Adam and Zeus like literally fighting in 0 time. I don't see like why Bruno
That's not true.
see the attack.
That's not true. Wait, hold on. Is the thing that motivates her not being able to say it is the fact that they do it in 0 time? Is that what you said? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, like we just see the top fighters like cannot see
Okay, prove that.
what Zeus is doing.
Okay, prove that.
What?
Prove that it's in 0 time. If that's the thing that actually motivates her. Yeah, because I think that if you say that, okay, well, a narrative statement like this is just going to be false because you can't see it, and then the reason for that is something which is false. Then obviously she will be able to say it.
Okay, hold on. Not even gonna lie, I wasn't paying attention. I was arguing with somebody on Discord.
Zeus fighting for one, it's every condition. So you
It's a necessary condition for him to actually like this.
like scanning. Poseidon just can't do anything. Poseidon gets like literally triple tap just due to like the scanning ability. Like you're just.
I'm not sure about the last part, but when she says any attack and he can anticipate any attack, that would be indexed to the attack that she just saw with Adam and Zeus and whoever just fought before. So obviously he was already doing it before in his fight, like as a human, he never fought a god before. But when she makes a general statement like that and you want to specify to a specific time as a human, that just feels unfortunate and terrible.
Of course he hasn't. I mean, I assume the reason why it fails on parsimony is because I posits that she's making a general statement for no reason. And if it posits that she's making a general statement for no reason, without any particular like explanation, then it fails on parsimony. Like, I assume that's the reason. And I guess that's fine, like saying that what's it called? If people who generally make or people who usually make general statements, they aren't specifying to just specific time periods, then you're trying to say that they are specifying to specific time periods in this sort of statement. It fails on parsimony because it doesn't explain, or like one, it posits like too many entities supposedly. I assume that's how Gyro is arguing it, and two, it also just has less explanatory power. But yeah, man.
And I don't know about the last part. I just don't think that it's a necessary condition for him to actually know, or get someone to a certain degree to actually be able to react to them. Since he stated to be able to react to Zeus prior to that, I think
it has to be a necessary condition. So you make two claims, and I'm going to address both of them. Yeah. So the first thing
wait,
is that
why is he saying it's a necessary? Wait, why is he saying it's a necessary condition?
So you make two.
He stated to be able to react to Zeus prior to that, I think
it has to be a necessary condition. So
What is the necessary condition?
Someone to a certain degree to actually be able to react to them. Since the necessary condition for him to have some parsimony terrible. And I don't know about the last part. I just don't think that it's a necessary condition for him to actually know, or get someone to a certain degree to actually be able to react to them. Since he stated to be able to react to Zeus prior to that.
Oh, okay. Gyro doesn't necessary condition for him to scan somebody to react to them. LOL. Because the statement condition.
No, it has to be a necessary condition. So you make 2 claims and I'm address both of them. Yeah. So the first claim you made was that it's every attack that she's seen. For one, that presupposes she can see Adana Zeus fighting. For one, Adana Zeus like literally is fighting.
Okay, so it is a necessary condition, and the statement is made from list of the knowledge to be inclusive of the needs to be able to perceive them
in 0 time. I don't see like why Bruno
That's not true. That's not true.
Wait a
Wait,
minute.
hold on. Is the thing that
In 0 time. That presupposes she can see Adana Zeus fighting. For one, Adana Zeus like literally is fighting in 0 time. I don't see like why Bruno
That's not true. That's not true. Wait, hold on. Is the thing that motivates her not being able to say this the fact that they do it in 0 time? Is that true?
I mean, well, supposedly the statement or like the instance of them moving in 0 time specifically is like time manipulation, where they just stop time for everyone else and then like move while the time is stopped. And if it's just that, then it wouldn't particularly be any faster than any of his other attacks. It would just be like impossible to dodge because you're literally frozen in time. And the reason why Adam is like able to obviously dodge it is because he's copied the ability, so it wouldn't apply for like obviously somebody using the ability. That's why they can move, supposedly. At least I'm just going off of like what I know about Record of Ragnarok already, right? But if that's true, like, I mean, not only do they not use that like time stop first, so if he's saying that, oh, you need to like, or one of the motivating reasons why she wouldn't be able to see them move is because they are fighting in 0 time. They aren't always fighting in 0 time. Like, I know Zeus goes into a stronger form without stopping time either, so clearly implies there's like a disparity between or at least a more durable form. There's a disparity specifically between his time stop punch and his like Adamus form, right? Because clearly his Adamus form is like supposed to be stronger, more imposing, right? Even though he isn't moving in 0 time. So if most of his attacks are not done in 0 time, then like why wouldn't, like, assuming Gyro's argument goes through, why wouldn't he just perception blitz him? That's like really odd to say. But
is that what you just said?
Yeah, like we just see the top fighters like cannot see
Okay, for that.
what Zeus is doing.
Okay, for that.
What?
For that, it's in 0 time. If that's the thing that actually motivates her. Yeah, 'cause I think
doesn't one of the characters literally also see him? I forget who he's called. It's that really suspicious looking dude with the loo, right? But yeah, prove that it's 0 time. Keep in mind, both of them have burdens on them right now. So at least, so one, I mean, I guess you could dismiss his claim as basis skepticism if the basis for his skepticism gets defeated. But Gyro of Zizou is placing the burden on him that he needs to prove that the statement would be inclusive of the gods, right? And the reason why he needs to prove that is because he needs some form of justification as to why she's able to perceive the gods. And the reason why he needs justification for that is because we see that she can't do that, right? So maybe he's asking for counter evidence, right? And if he's asking for counter evidence, then like, sure, it would be on Gyro's body to give counter evidence. But that is if and only if like there's even evidence for his claim in the first place, that there's evidence leading towards them not being able to perceive the gods. It'd be really odd, especially right, for all of them to go up and have a really big tournament with a crowd, just for the crowd not to be able to see anything that's going on, right? For the majority of the fight, that would be really odd, right? I don't know why that would ever happen. Especially like it's supposed to be entertaining, right? It's supposed to like make a show out of it for the gods. Like it would be really odd if like nobody could see what's going on, right? Especially the humans too. Like the humans can see what's going on, right? So and they're like cheering for Adam. So it's like, okay, do the humans have less perception speed than the Valkyrie lady? Like that's obviously not true, right? But yeah, I'm going to just say like if Zizou's entire reason specifically for thinking that she can't perceive it is the zero time stuff, right? And the zero time stuff gets defeated, then he no longer has any reason to believe that they can't perceive it, right? And now it will just be okay. Well, he's asking him to prove he can perceive it for literally no reason, right? Aside from there's no real reason aside from like quote unquote lack of evidence, right? But like with the background information we know about the series, it's like, well, obviously they do have like good reason to perceive it. So I mean, we'll just see where it goes from there. If he like defeats the if he defeats the entire stuff about if he defeats the stuff about specifically how like whether or not he can perceive in zero time or whether or not the movement is actually in zero time, I'd assume Gyro won that point. But it's really odd because he like gives him a burden and also places a burden on himself. So if they start attacking the burden that's placed upon himself and don't like return to the initial burden, it'd be like, okay, or if like Zizou doesn't press the fact the initial button, it's like, okay, like that would be Zizou's fault for derailing. I don't know. Like yeah, I think that would probably be Zizou's fault. But I'm not holding too firm of a stance on that. I'll just see where it goes from here.
Because I think that if you say that, okay, well, a narrative statement like this is just going to be false because you can't see it, and then the reason for that is something which is false, then obviously we'll be able to say, no, it's Zizou making a statement that's going to be something which we just read.
The character making the statement, of course.
I know it's not a message story, but it's still something which is supposed to push the narrative forward. If you say that, okay, well, the statement is just going to be false. No, I was speaking. When did you not finish? I was speaking. I was in the middle of speaking.
Oh my god. There's no shot. There's no shot.
I was speaking.
You made the claim.
Bro, this guy doesn't have like that. Bro, I told you I was speaking first.
Okay, hold on. So, silly little me accidentally closed the tab while trying to move back to the tab. And then I ended up like having a whole argument with somebody on Discord. So, like, give me a second.
Because I think that if you say that, okay, well, a narrative statement like this is just going to be false.
What's it called? Saying.
Because you can't see it. And then the reason for that is something which is false. If that's the thing that actually motivates me. Because I think that if you say that, okay, well, a narrative statement like this is just going to be false because you can't see it. And then the reason for that is something which is false. Then obviously we'll be able to say, no, it's Zizou making a statement that's going to be something which we just read.
The character making the statement, of course.
I know it's not a message story, but
Zizou is saying that it's not from the author, so she's not. Let me see. I really don't like these arguments like, oh, it's not from the author, right? Therefore, we can just doubt every single statement she makes. It's like you know, whenever characters in fiction, for example, are making statements about the power system. Right, they're explaining to you the power system. It's like, well, obviously they don't know everything about the power system, right? Oh, like there's no good reason for us to say that they know like anything about what they're talking about aside from their own experience. Yet we take what they're saying, or we take the sort of statements that they're making, right, as factual because it's just the author giving exposition to us, right, specifically about what's going on. So it's like, depending on the sort of statement that's being made, right, especially whenever it's the sort of statement that's being used to like analyze or give us an introduction into the characters and what their abilities are, it's really odd for us to like just doubt their knowledge, especially when the author is just trying to like give us a very clear message about what's actually going on. So like, I mean, I think doubting their character knowledge in this sort of context is especially dishonest, right? I mean, well, not particularly dishonest. I don't know. I'm not sure, like, how accurate whatever the girl's name is whenever she's talking about abilities, right? But from the looks of things, I'm pretty sure she's just the one who like set up the entire event. So it makes kind of no sense for her to like either A, not know the extent of this guy's abilities, and B, don't also not know like who these abilities apply to. That seems very odd. But yeah.
It's still something which is supposed to push the narrative forward. If you say that, it was the same as just going to be like, oh, no, I was speaking.
Yeah, Gyro's obviously speaking there. It's a statement meant to push it forward. Wait, give a second. Like, wait, look.
Speaking out forward. If you say that, that's going to be something we really just read.
Character making the same thing.
I know it's not omniscient source, but it's still something which is supposed to push the narrative forward. If you say that, it was the same as just going to be like, oh, no, I was speaking.
Yeah, he was obviously speaking.
I was you not finished. I was speaking. I was in the middle of speaking. Stop. I was speaking. Guys, someone. I was speaking. Stop. I was speaking. Stop. I was speaking. I was speaking.
You made the claim.
Bro, this guy's saying out like, bro, I told you I was speaking first. Stop. Guys.
Yeah, just mute Gyro.
Why are we me and Gyro? I'm confused. Why are we me and Gyro? What's wrong? Like, what's going on?
What? I was speaking first. What are you talking about?
No, you weren't.
Guys, I was talking first.
But it's so bad with Dave, and you have a constant
I was talking first.
interrupting people.
Ladies. I was talking first. I was talking first.
You weren't talking first.
Okay,
Can someone read hide? Like, what's he speaking?
I'm going to mute both of you. Listen, who's going to be the bigger man here? And who's going to let the other person speak first? Okay, now I'm going to unmute both of you. Let's see.
Keep in mind, being the bigger man doesn't win you debates, by the way. Being the bigger man, look, you need to be vicious. You need to be vicious. You need to sacrifice your life for the debate. Have you ever Discord debated with your life on the line?
Bro, can I finish my sentence? I was interrupted rudely. If we run back to the recording, you're just getting embarrassed by what you said. Because you said that you interrupted. I'm going to interrupt you, sir. No, not 1 second. I'm going to finish what I said. I'm going to finish what I fucking said. Stop.
No, actually, no. That's actually peak gaslighting tactic. It's like, oh, I'll let you finish. And I'm not actually saying this to critique Zizou. It's just like something I notice when people debate. It's like, I'll let you finish once I'm done cutting you off. It's like, well, if you're cutting me off, obviously you're not letting me finish when I want to. Like sure, you probably let me finish once you're done with whatever like ramble or whatever statement you have to say. But the point is that I won't finish speaking now. Like I don't won't finish speaking later. I won't finish speaking now. Like obviously you let me speak later. It's like I don't know whether or not it's a placing tactic. Like I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Speaking. I don't know why you feel the need to interrupt everything I say. Let me finish, okay?
I will let you finish, just please.
Stop speaking out, okay? Just stop speaking out.
Gyro was fucking
first. But the purpose of the statement is still going to be to push the narrative forward in some degree. And so, if you're saying that the statement which is supposed to push the narrative forward is going to be false, then it just takes away from the value of the statement. The author would be more incentivized to make this.
If you say, then wait, what did you say?
It's going to be false. Then it just takes away from the value of the statement. The author would be more incentivized to make the statement true in all regards. So if he says, okay, well,
value.
Here's a general statement saying that, okay, Poseidon is able to perceive all attacks, and you say, okay, well, no, that's actually specific, and there's a necessary condition here, and there's that, and there's this.
And
that you just fail on parsimony. It's a terrible position. So you either prove it, you give me a strong argument to that, or you just lose. It's pretty simple.
So multiple parts. I want to address this very clearly. You said that even though you agree it's not an omniscient source, this is used precisely to further the narrative in some way, shape, or form. But the problem with that is that even if we agree that in some way, shape, or form it furthers the narrative, we're presupposing it furthers what you think you're understanding.
Yeah. Even if it's yeah. I mean, Well, obviously, it isn't supposed to, like, I mean, I don't think Gyro's, like, injecting his own interpretation there, right? Because I'm pretty sure if the statement is just how Gyro says it, is where it says that, like, he's able to perceive all attacks, right? And, if he's able to perceive all attacks, then trivially he would, like, be able to perceive all attacks that have been done up until that point, right? Because obviously you can't perceive attacks that don't exist yet. Right, and it's like it's not as if he's injecting what he thinks into the, like, furthering of the narrative, but also maybe it's because I paused it while I was midway through his response. But I haven't heard any actual response to the fact that he has greater incentive to make it true in all regards, and the fact that his interpretation fails on parsimony because it is a general statement.
Of the story is, I'm telling you right now that the reason why this statement is made is to explain how Sasaki derives this ability, which is contextually relevant. We also can agree that
so he derives ability. Well, okay, if the state... Okay, hold on. So, it's meant... those two interpretations aren't even conflicting. Like, it doesn't seem as if the sort of interpretation he's making is a direct response. Like, both of them could be true at the same time. Like, not to say that they are true at the same time, but both of them can be true at the same time, right? What's it called? So it can be like, I mean, obviously it can be both, right? And it actually would make more sense if it's both. So he perceives all attacks, he's able to anticipate all attacks, and using his anticipation and perception of all attacks, then he's able to form an accurate map and, like, prediction of everyone's abilities, and then beat them. Like, so it would be a necessary condition for him to create a scan of all your abilities to be able to perceive you, right? So even if it is like what's it called, Zizou's interpretation, all he's doing here is he's just granting that yes, he can perceive him, but the reason why they're making the statement that he can perceive any attack is because they can show that through perceiving every attack he's also able to get this other ability. But Gyro's just arguing that he can perceive every attack. So if he grants that he can perceive every attack, but it's just not for the reasons, or they're not making the statement for the reasons Gyro is saying he can, right? Then he's still granting he can perceive every attack. So Gyro is saying he can perceive every attack, therefore he can perceive every attack. Zizou is just saying he can perceive every attack, so he uses it to scan. He's not like he's just granting the, like, Gyro's argument, right? But he's also making the extra specification that it's specifically indexed to Brunheil's, or whatever her name is, knowledge, right? Which again doesn't respond to the parsimony stuff. But yeah,
that if he's not omniscient, it would be based on Brunhild's knowledge and understanding of his ability from seeing Sasaki's story and his life as a human. The issue with this is that someone like Zeus, who's literally fighting in 0 time and is not being able to
that's just, I don't want to use Infinity's lingo, but that's just the claim, bro. Like, that was what was claimed, like, literally a few minutes earlier in the discussion, right? And obviously that's still in question, right? Whether or not he is actually moving in 0 time, for one. 2, I mean, if I were Gyro, I'd just question why, like, that's even a speed buff, right? If it is a speed buff, then it doesn't mean anything, right? It's just time manipulation. 3, well, it's like, obviously Gyro explained why it being indexed to specifically her own knowledge wouldn't have more explanatory power, because, like, obviously the author has incentive to do otherwise. So, like, saying that it's indexed to her knowledge specifically would not only would it decrease the value of the statement, in the sense that now what's it called, the accuracy or the ability to explain the scan ability, supposedly, right? Keep in mind that I'm not saying that this is true, but supposedly to Gyro, right, the ability to explain the scan ability would be reduced, right? Brunhild's honesty and how much we can trust her would also be reduced, right? Thus decreasing the value of her current statement and her future statements, and the author doesn't have any incentive to make her current statement false. So those 3 things, right? Zizou hasn't responded to any of them yet, so yeah.
See, which I will prove to you right now if you need that. Yeah, someone like Zeus is fighting 0 time and characters cannot perceive Zeus. The issue is that this would not fall under Brunhild's characterization because Brunhild cannot see the nigga fighting. You want me to prove that?
Okay, the last part is Shadowbox, and yeah, I won't keep it with blood. But the first part, it's pretty simple because, like I said, when you say all, it's not me presupposing any sort of like weird narrative. It's me saying, okay, well, all
conceive, resist, and time stop. So,
and you look at what attacks mean, and you know that, okay, well, previous attacks were thrown in the story, and that would include what Zeus threw when he was in Adamus form, when he quote-unquote moved in 0 time. And you understand that, okay, well, if you want to make the general statement actually general, and not specified for zero reason at all, then you would make it apply to those attacks as well. Unless, like I said, you have a strong reason not to. So no, he wasn't moving in 0 time, that's retarded. And no, when you say Brownhill didn't see it, then again, you need a very strong reason for that. It's not like, oh yeah, man, we just don't know or not, she saw it or not, because it's about...
this is moving.
The author is always incentivized to make the statement actually apply to what the statement says. You can't just make a statement like this false. Just pushes the narrative in a wrong direction.
Is to make not gonna lie, like I probably would even repeat the entire stuff about the author's incentive. I mean, maybe it sounds as dishonest or snaky, but like I probably would even repeat it. Then like post debate, I just bring it up again, right? I don't know if that's like ratty or snaky, but yeah. So if the author like has no incentive or has like less of an incentive to do what Zizou saying he does, then it decreases the probability. You know how it goes. So yeah, man. I mean, probably I'd give the edge to Gyro right now.
I want you to restate one of your claims. You said that it's retarded that Zeus is moving in 0 time. Correct? You said that. Correct?
Yes.
Can you repeat that out loud again for everybody?
Yes. It's retarded to say that Zeus was moving in 0 time.
Why do you need him to repeat it? Is this rhetoric? Yo, is this the way? No, actually, I will grant. Like, to be fair, Zizou is actually quite convincing. Like, I would say quite convincing because it is. I'm not convinced, right? But I will grant that Zizou actually is a really good speaker. I will say that. Like, Zizou is definitely a very good speaker.
Because the statement that you're referring to doesn't just say 0. It has 0 point. I'm not rambling. I'm going to explain to you why, because you want to make me look stupid. I'm going to make you look stupid. So the statement that you're referring to, is saying if it was 0. The fake laugh, I'm not going to say it.
Why did Gyro put the burden on himself, or why did he like start putting himself on the like defensive? I'm confused. Like what's it called? He's asked Zizou to prove that it was 0 time like 6 times. Then he starts giving his own explanation why it isn't 0 time, even though he doesn't have to. Right, like says he like even if Zizou like defeats his reasons for believing it's not 0 time, he hasn't given any reasons why it is 0 time. Right, so like. I mean, why did he do that? If you know why Gyro did that, let me know in the comments below. Engagement bait. Sorry.
It's going to say, okay, well, 0.000. It's not just saying 0. It's not doing anything like that. An actual 0 doesn't follow itself up by 0.000 something. It's a continuous number. It's not going to be actually 0 time. Retard.
The time. The stop statement isn't time stop because it doesn't say 0. It says 0 point, and obviously doesn't like no literally hold on actually doesn't one of the characters there literally perceive it? Like doesn't he like obviously see what's going on, right? I mean it's like I know Ares can, but Ares is like a bum, I mean, I guess you could say one of the characters not being able to perceive her casts doubt on whether or not Brunner would be able to like perceive her. But again, I don't think that would be as strong of a reason as what Gyro is asking for. Because Gyro needs like extremely strong evidence why this very bold statement would be included, just for the statement to be false and Brohau to be a liar. But yeah.
Wait, hold on.
No, I just have to keep reason. Fucking
You're not
example.
even like denying. You're not even. Wait, hold on. I want to make about your statement right now. You're not even like. You're not even talking about atoms. You're just talking in general now. That like Zeus cannot even like use like the time transcendent fist or some bullshit like that. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that the time transcendent fist, sorry, it's not something which actually transcends time.
You don't think so?
Obviously not. I should give you a reason. You know, good.
The only reason is that since it goes 0.0000 eternally, you think it's like an infinitesimal value, correct?
No, I'm saying that it doesn't actually exemplify zero. Because the semantic difference is that, okay, well, an actual zero doesn't need a decimal and other zeros behind it. It's always going to be just zero. So when you follow it up with different numbers, it's going to follow that it's not actually zero.
There isn't another number beside it, though. That's the problem.
No, we don't see it, but because it's going off screen, I know. But I'm saying that when you follow it up with decimals or more zeros, then that's not expected of a normal zero. You don't say, okay, well, here's 0 bottles for 0, and you just exemplify it at 0.000 something.
Wait, hold on. Prove that it's not normal for 0 to be followed up with an infinite amount of decimals. Because obviously you agree that 0 is followed up literally in some
Hold on. What the hell is that? What the hell is that button? Right. Prove that 0 is not normal for 0 to be followed up with like 0 numbers. Like usually whenever I'm saying that, oh yeah, the 0 bottles, right? Or like whenever I say like here's a tangerine, right? Then I chop the tangerine into like into half, right? That's half a tangerine or 0.5. Alright, if we're speaking in decimals, that's like obviously 0.5. Alright, it would like trivially, if I'm not talking about 0, right, then I'm obviously not going to use like I'm not going to use the word like number 0 on its own. Alright, even if it does start with a number, I'm going to use like the number 0 plus other numbers to specify that there's a distinction between that number and 0, right? Which is why 0.5 is also not the same number as 0. Like I'm confused. I don't know what Zizou's even arguing for here. Like why would, in fact, can someone even tell me what would be the real point of adding other numbers behind 0 if it was just 0? Like what would be the point? Like do they intend to waste ink or like what's going on? Right, like that just isn't how anybody use the number. Like if you see people if you see like a child counting to 10, assume they know their decimals. They're like what's it called? 0, 1.1, 0.5, 1, 1.52, 2.53, 3.54, 4.55, 5.56, da 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 da. Like what do you damn think they don't start with like 0.0000000? Like I don't really get the real sort of motive as to why they'd add all of these other zeros there if it was just actually 0. It seems quite redundant to me. I don't know. Like maybe it's just I'm not tapped in, but yeah.
I think the reason why they applied in that manner, though, is because the whole point is like we see the decimal getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So when it reaches that 0 point, it's some form of exemplification of a significant difference. And I think this is further corroborated.
Hold on. Actually, wait, give me a second. Let's go to the chapter. Because we can solve this issue really easily. Let's go to the chapter. Comic Dire. I know I don't miss you. I miss you. Come here. I know we will never be a pair. Record of Ragnarok. Dujinshi! Oh lord! Record of Ragnarok. Where is that? Forbidden side story. No, Narok. There we go. I don't need no damn Jujinshi. Let's start from the top. And then we'll go here. Okay. Keep going. Come on, Adam. This is really cold. I love Adam, bro. No, this is where his nose starts bleeding. So it has to be after that. So... Speaking of which, why is this bar even out, bro? Like, someone let me know. This guy got packed in the most recent chapter, by the way. He got packed. Adamus. So this also has to be after the time stop punch. Okay, hold on. Let's see this. No, okay. This is also before it. It happens at 9. 0.01. Okay. Well, so obviously, like, clearly it's not normal to have like decimal places behind 0, right? Just what's it called if you're indicating 0. And yeah, light speed jab. We'll do those feelers. 0.001, 0.00001, 0.00001, 0.00001. Okay. 0.1, 0.01, 0.001. Okay. There we go. All knowing, all powerful Zeus. I'm so happy. Use your cheap weapon. I couldn't see his last move. He got me in the chin before I even knew it. Suffering a single blow. Sparta Kronos, you're a great warrior. The technique he used is said to be 0.0000000. This doesn't know, like, okay. This is like really no. This is really dishonest. Saying that this this is indicative of absolute 0. This is really dishonest, especially when they were going down they were going down zeros every single time to indicate that it was still going into a lower and lower and lower time span. Right. This is just indicative of them going into an even lower time span, so low that it can't even be calculated. How does that imply what he's talking about? Right. Looking at the panel, it doesn't imply what he's talking about. Right. If he beat this guy, right, they were fighting clearly. The guy clearly didn't hit him. He didn't hit him before this, right? So it's either A, gave him a massive speed buff, right, or B, what's it called? He just starts trying harder, right? Or like he just starts trying harder. And if that's it, then which is why like everything seems to be moving slowly. It's like I'm confused. So he grants dominion over all of time. He's crumbled to the ground. Yeah, no, this just seems really dishonest. Oh, to be fair though, she does look stopped in time, by the way. Like, she has the same sort of time stopped effect. Or maybe you could say that's like an effect of like, no, she does have the time stopped effect, right? But specifically for talking about the 0 stuff, this is really dishonest to say that this is absolute 0, right? She just, she stopped. She's shocked too. She like, neither of them know what's going on. And then I'm pretty sure if you go into the next if you go into the next chapter, I also don't know why this. I am the god of war. Fighting is my profession. A god would have been able to see their shadows, but he saw it clearly. So there's this too. Like, this lends credence to Zizou's interpretation, but Zizou hasn't brought any of this up. What I'm looking for specifically is whether or not specifically what I'm looking for is whether or not like they have any indication of them seeing it. Because if he brings it up, when Zeus was about to unleash his move, Adam copied it, evaded his fist and hit him. So clearly it's a matter of perception. That's the feeling I got. He's obviously lying. You know, I could train for 1,000 years and still never be able to beat that human. is down. Yeah, okay. Well, aside from the shock, right, he doesn't really show any indication of not being able to see it, but yeah.
Where they say that this power is a dominion over all of time, and then they describe it as completely transcending the dome.
Okay, so time, zoom, the amount of zeros, decimal places after zero. Zero. And then for dominion over is that. Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I actually don't know.
Domain of time itself by the all-knowing, like all omnipotent time god.
All omnipotent.
Like what?
Okay. I can't believe that you just asked me why you don't put infinite fucking numbers of decimals beside a zero. It's because you don't need it. It's always going to be just a zero. That's why you don't see like a random number. Like let's say you're reading the newspaper, you see, okay, well, here's zero, let's say fucking apples harvested today on a random farm. And you say 0.00 fucking infinite zeros after that. That's retarded. And for the second part, that's obviously going to be hyperbole. Obviously, that's expected on my position as well.
The problem is that you can say that you don't need it in a vacuum, right? But I'm saying in this context, you do need it because the whole point of that scan in the fight was that Zeus was going from 0.1 second to 0.001 second to 0.000001 second ad infinitum. So the whole point was like some form of like narrative.
If it's going back infinitely, it's still not zero, by the way. Like, if it's going back, if it's getting smaller infinitely, like, it will still never reach zero, right? Like, it's like, if I half, like, oh no, actually, just take 1 and, like, 2. There's, like, obviously an infinite amount of decimal places between 1 and 2, but yeah.
That begs the question. We're talking about if it's infinite. We're talking about if it's infinite, sorry. So obviously, if you say, okay, well, it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference. I agree it's exemplifying a significant difference. Stop speaking. I agree. Stop speaking. Stop speaking. I agree it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference. But I don't agree that that difference is actually supposed to exemplify that he's transcending time. Every statement you can bring up to the guy actually transcending time. Bro, I need to finish.
What's the topic?
Why's that guy coming in?
I need to finish.
Also, hold on. Let's do a cutoff check, by the way.
So obviously, if you say, okay, well, it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference. I agree it's exemplifying a significant difference. Stop speaking. I agree. Stop speaking. That begs the question.
So the whole point is like some form of like narrative.
That begs the question. That begs the question. We're talking about if it's infinite. We're talking about if it's infinite, sorry. So obviously, if you say, okay, well, it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference. I agree it's exemplifying a significant difference. Stop speaking. I agree. Stop speaking. I agree it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference. But I don't agree that that difference is actually supposed to exemplify that he's transcending time. Every statement you can bring up to the guy actually transcending time. Bro, I need to finish.
What's the topic?
I need to finish.
You just cut me off talking about unity.
I guess stop swearing.
No. The problem is that the reason. Okay, the point I'm saying is that the value keeps getting smaller per decimal point. So I'm saying that in this context, yes, it would need the decimal, so we can continue that narrative portrayal of Zeus progressively getting faster to the point where he reaches that point. I'm saying that the justification for this context is the other statements that you're putting into question being hyperbolic. And I don't think they're hyperbolic because they're derived from a literal time god who uses time-based abilities.
Okay. When I say
Zeus isn't the okay, he's talking about Kronos. So they are hyperbolic. Okay, let's write this down. So in this context it's needed the ability is used from a time god who uses time-based abilities. So not hyperbolic. I mean, yeah, like after looking at the panel for like 2 seconds, it's like, well, yeah, obviously, but I'm unclear specifically why Brunhard wouldn't be able to perceive it, right? Like, because even if we assume that it is stop time, right, and say it is stop time, right, clearly characters can perceive it even while it is still in stop time. So, saying that just because it's stop time, therefore it can be perceived, seems pretty odd, right? Especially like when after that Brunhard seems to have enough confidence to make such a bold statement about what's it called? About oh my god. About like the attacks that have been done so far, but yeah. Okay.
Say, okay, well, the statement's not hyperbolic. Obviously, I'm considering that, okay, well, the guy who's making it is someone who's, very smart, very strong, whatever. He also has a point in the narrative, obviously. But then, that doesn't mean that he's not making a hyperbolic statement. And the reason for that is, like I said, generally, when you say, okay, 0.00 something, you don't say that, okay, well, the guy's literally transcending time. Because when you say 0, you just say 0. So when you say, okay, well, it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference in speed, I agree, I just don't think that it means 0. Is that simple? I don't think it's that hard.
That's that's you're repeating. I'm not even begging a
question. I'm begging a question. You want to conclude? I'm begging a question. You want to conclude?
No, I don't want to conclude. I want to finish the point.
You think I questioned it? Like you
I want to finish. I said you're not.
You're so retarded. You are so retarded.
Hold on, let's go back.
Well, it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference in speed. I agree. You say 0, you just say 0. So when you say, okay, well, it's supposed to exemplify a significant difference in speed, I agree. I just don't think that it means 0. Is that simple? I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah, but okay, hold on, that doesn't answer a few questions. Hold on, that doesn't answer a few questions. So like, one specifically, okay, even if you grant that, sure, it's the what's it called, it is supposed to signify a significant speed difference, right? Then you just need to ask yourself, okay, even if it does signify a significant speed difference and everything, right? What's it called? How do you address the sort of background information we have about Zeus and his abilities? Alright, so it might just literally just be him stopping time and maybe showing like time just like coming to a halt, right? Because it goes from 0.0001, then immediately goes to a halt, right? Like it may just be that, right? With the background information provided to us that like he got the ability from a god of time, right? And if it's from a god of time, who has time-related abilities, you know how it goes. Right, but yeah, it depends on how Zizou or how Gyro addresses that. I don't know why Gyro is like too quick to go to conclusions. Like he's obviously not begging the question, right? He's obviously not. But just because he's not begging the question, that doesn't suddenly mean you should like immediately focus your mind on one thing and then like ignore the rest, right? Like he's not begging the question, but he needs to give a response. He needs to give one. Yeah, man. Okay.
I'm making a question. You want to
finish the point.
You think I questioned it? Like you retarded?
I want to finish. I said you're not.
You're so retarded. You are so retarded in the brain. You want to conclude now?
You can obviously say that, but you're just repeating yourself. Again, I told you you wouldn't need the decimals in a vacuum, yes, but contextually here, since the whole point of it is to portray Zeus getting faster in a decimal point, so obviously when you're trying to continue it and show this little gap, I don't know why you're repeating yourself here. And then again, it's not someone who's just fast and strong.
You didn't check. You didn't check.
I literally checked. You just said
no, brother. I agree that it's exemplifying some significant difference in speed. I agree. But what you're saying is that it's transcending time. Hold on, let me help you check. Okay. So what you're saying is that it's transcending time, and that would be the motivation for saying that Brunhard actually never saw the attack. Well, I disagree because obviously it's not transcending time. So okay, so are you going to give me an argument? Because you're saying it's necessary. Okay, you just fail in person again. You want to try again? You want to try again? You just fail. It's for saying that Brunhard actually never. So what you're saying is that I agree, but what you're saying is that it's transcending time. Hold on, let me help you check. Okay. So what you're saying is that it's transcending time, and that would be the motivation for saying that Brunhard actually never saw the attack. Well, I disagree because obviously it's not transcending time. So okay, so are you going to give me an argument? Because you're saying it's necessary. Okay, you just fail in person again. You want to try again? You want to try again?
That's not right. You just completely feel the time.
You are so confused. It's actually like not even funny. Okay.
Gyro isn't giving them at least Gyro isn't giving a proper reason yet why it isn't actually transcending time. At least all he's saying specifically is just at least it isn't indicated by the decimal places. And I mean, yeah, it isn't indicated by the decimal places, but using the background information we have specifically about the ability itself and where it's derived from, then we can say that it is actually transcending time, right? But yeah, man. You could never.
Literally confused. This is what you're talking about.
Do you want to conclude? Do you want to conclude?
No, I don't want to conclude. In fact,
Okay, I'm not checking your argument. I question it, but you don't want to conclude. I question it, but you don't want to conclude?
Just stop talking. I already told you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
You finished.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna send the scans in chat for everyone to know what I'm talking about, right? So, because I know a lot of people have not read Record of Ragnarok, but the whole point was like, in this fight, we see Zeus progressively reach a smaller decimal value. So yes, in a vacuum, 0 would not need to be denoted by a decimal. I agree with that. But the issue is that the reason why they would feel the need to denote 0 with a decimal value here is to denote back to the context of the story. This is why I keep talking about in a vacuum. I'm not talking about just a significant speed gap or anything like that. And again, what's my proof for it being a time transcending ability is that the ability is not just from a strong character, but literally the god and personification of time itself. And every single statement that talks about it isn't saying that Zeus is just moving super fast, but rather that he's surpassing and transcending time itself. You said it's hyperbolic, but I've yet to see an argument or a justification, and I could challenge anybody in this fucking VC to give me a reason or something that Gyro said that proves it's hyperbolic. Because he hasn't.
Right. Dude, again, for the last part, like I said, the reason I'm saying it's hyperbolic is because you're saying that, okay, well, I'm using this statement, or I'm me being Zizou, I'm using this statement to say, okay, Brownheld actually doesn't know about this. And when you say, okay, well, it's a god, he's this strong, he's that smart, whatever. I agree, but that's expected. That's not incompatible with him making a hyperbole. And the reason for that is, like I said, that's how you can't account for the reason, okay, well, why did he actually make so many decimal points after the original 0? You can't account for that. You're only saying that, okay, well, maybe it's supposed to portray some kind of difference in the narrative or some kind of, like, point in the story, whatever. But generally speaking, like I told you, people don't use zeros like that. That's pure autism. Pure autism. How do you account for that?
I mean, it can be a time transcending fist without being a time stop fist. By the way, like I just want to let you know, bro. Like it can literally just be him, like slowing down time for other people, right? And that way he can also go slowing down time for other people. That way he can hit you before you're able to react. If that's true, then like that obviously would even be evidence lending credence to like the fact that she wouldn't be able to perceive it, because then for it to lend credence to that, you'd also need some background reason why specifically her perception speed is so low such that if time is reduced in terms of how quickly it's flowing, then she'll be unable to perceive her. Alright, but again, I need Gyro to address the thing. I need Gyro to properly address the background information about Kronos and him having time manipulation abilities. But I'd say it's pretty even right now. I don't know.
Again, about what you were saying earlier about the hyperbole. Yes, it's logically possible or technically possible that it's hyperbolic. Nobody disagrees with that. But the problem is it's very unreasonable and less parsimonious for it to be hyperbolic, for the simple reason that the character who uses this ability is the literal god and personification of time itself. He's like
You just questioned that. You said my position is less likely because of the thing that you outlined before, him being a god. I said, okay, well, I agree that he's a god. I agree that he's this level smart. He's this level strong. But that's not incompatible. I can account for that just as well as you can. And you said, okay, well, that's parsimony is. Do you even know what parsimony is?
Okay, hold on. Before he starts pressing him on what kind of parsimony he's talking about and such, right? I mean, well, Gyro is right here. Like, he is right here. Like, obviously, you can grant that he's a god. You can grant that he's a god of time, right? Without granting that he actually stops time. You could literally say it's a variety of different things aside from him actually stopping time. And if it is a variety of different things aside from him actually stopping time, then like Zizou's interpretation falls flat, because the initial claim is that he is stopping time. If Gyro could grant that he is transcending time in the sense that he's able to manipulate it, but he's not actually stopping time, then Zizou's initial claim would have been unproven, right? And if Zizou's initial claim is entirely unproven, then Zizou loses. So Zizou needs some evidence. If he doesn't give the evidence, then Zizou loses. But if he does give the evidence, Zizou wins. Because Zizou's just a baby.
What account of course when you're going under? What account of course when you're going under? What account of course when you're going under?
Wait, let me finish. Please let me finish.
What again? No, again? What account of course when you're going under? This is very important. This is important. Okay. You don't know what parsimony is. You just use the word that you didn't know about. It's not just parsimony.
You just made a big blunder. Please let me finish.
Big blunder.
Thank you.
Oh,
what you
but
said verbatim. You keep doing this. I don't know why you keep doing this, thinking you're sneaky. You keep switching what I say from the literal personification of time and switching that to, oh, he's just strong and fast. I never once said he's just strong and smart. I'm not saying that. I'm going to reiterate it for you, and please don't say, oh, this guy's just strong and smart. He is literally the personification and God of time itself. So when you say that, oh, it can be hyperbolic, or it's not mutually exclusive from being hyperbolic, I agree with that. But it makes no fucking sense for the God of time itself to be described as transcending time, for it to be just a hyperbole of him moving fast. If that's the case, and you really believe that, I want some form of argument.
Chris,
Because
brother, you understand that? When I say strong and fast, brother.
has he actually given a reason why that's ridiculous? Like, could it not just be the case that he is the god of time because it looks as if he's manipulating time because he's moving really fast? Like, could that not be the case as well? Like, I'm confused. Like, why is that not the case? Or say like, if you like, let's assume that is a speed buff. Say like he uses the time transcending fist, and it allows him to move really fast, like for a specific moment, right? And then hit you so that it looks as if time is stopped for everyone else, when in reality it's just me moving really quickly. Like, if that's it, then which would also explain why people are able to perceive him, right? Whereas unless they're able to move and stop time, right? But why can't literally just be that? Like, the whole explanation he's given isn't really mutually exclusive with it being like him just being really strong and fast. Like, look at the Flash actually, right? Say like the Flash can move back and forth in time or something. Like, I'm not too well versed in DC. Or look at like Cecila's segment from ReZero, right? He can move like back and forth in time because he's really fast, right? Like, you could say he's a god of time in the sense that he has he can control time in the sense that he can move he like creates that effect, whereas no other person creates that effect. So technically he'd be doing something godlike insofar as he's able to do something regular people are unable to do. And if that's it, then yeah, you literally can just be him being strong and fast, ironically. So
Relax. Take a deep breath, okay? Okay.
Gaslight rhetoric.
When I say strong and smart, I understand that's maybe not what you're saying verbatim. But point is, whatever you said, whatever you described about that God, and whatever you say doesn't make sense with my position, it's not actually incompatible with my position. He can be the literal personification of time. He can be fucking God himself, like literally God of everything. I don't give a fuck. What he said can still be hyperbolic. It's still as likely to be hyperbolic as whatever the fuck you're saying. Okay? So unless you give me an argument for me either not being able to account for something within that persona, or maybe some kind of other way of reasoning, then my position is just as likely as yours. Yet mine doesn't fail on the account of the guy using a bunch of fucking zeros after the red and zero. Even though he could just say zero.
Yeah, well, why? I mean, maybe it's just an intuitive thing, but like where Zizou's using his intuition to justify his argument, and it's like, well, you probably don't want to do that, but why does him being the god of time lend credence to him actually stopping time? Or why does it lend credence to that? Is it because like typically people who are described to be gods of time in fiction typically can manipulate and stop time, right? I don't know if that's true. Like, maybe somebody can name me any gods of time in fiction, right? But it doesn't seem that way, right? But hey, man.
Gyro, and leave it at that. If he actually transcended time, you can't account for that. I can account for whatever you're saying.
You just made a big jump in logic, okay? Because all your argument right now proves, and I'll explain to you how you made a big jump in logic. You're arguing right now that my position, my arguments, and my debunks are compatible with your interpretation. Yes, I agree with that. Your interpretation. No, it's not a concession because it's
well, actually, he is directly. I mean, well, he was really contesting his claim was less parsimonious. So I guess he didn't concede, but I mean, he's basically accepting that like Gyro's claim wins on parsimony, right? Because if Gyro's claim is able to explain why it has less zeros on account of it being hyperbole, it can also account for him, for him having time manipulation due to literally any other reason, such as him being strong as fast as he's like repeated beforehand. Then quite literally there's nothing Gyro's like hypothesis can't account for, right, that Zizou's can, and there's no like extra assumptions being made whenever Gyro's accounting for them in comparison to whenever like Zizou is. So like I guess yeah, he definitely does win on parsimony.
Yeah. What? Your interpretation is evidence of my interpretation as well.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yes, it is. You know what the problem is?
Wait, hold on, stop. The problem
You are
is,
so confused.
that it's not as likely as mine. That's the issue we have.
Why? I'm asking you why. If it's compatible with my interpretation,
Let me finish.
then it's evidence for my interpretation as well.
Let me finish. Just let me finish, okay? Thank you. Please let me finish. The problem is that just because something is possible doesn't mean it's equally likely. And the reason, my argument again, for it being some form of likelihood for me, is that it does not befit the nature or the characteristics or the description of the god of time to just simply be moving fast.
Why?
Generally, when you describe someone as having time-based abilities or being the god of time itself, we should reasonably conclude that he has some form of time-based abilities. For example,
I mean, the time-based ability would be being able to create an effect such as it looks like time has stopped. Like, I'm confused. Does that not count as a time-based ability? Like, what are we counting as a time-based ability? What sort of criteria are we saying? Like, well, why does it not befit its nature? There's a whole bunch of questions that need to be asked here.
if you have a fire god, it wouldn't make sense for that god to not use fire. Like, I think that's a pretty general assumption. So,
Wait again, last word.
okay, the last part I said, I'm just giving you an example. Example I'm giving you is that it wouldn't make sense, for example, to have like a fire god, like the literal god of fire, not be able to handle or control time or like some bullshit like that. That's the problem.
Time?
And I'm saying that in this case, when a god, like, I'm gonna send this scan in chat for everybody too, so like everyone can see it, is described as the personification of time itself. To just be moving fast makes no fucking sense because it does not befit the characteristics of someone who's described as the concept of time itself. So please give me
can someone actually tell me, what does it mean to be the concept of time? What does that even mean? Like, what does that mean, bro? Can someone tell me? Like, what does it mean to be a concept of time? Like, someone let me know.
Why am I?
You don't understand anything. You don't understand anything I'm saying. The reason why I said it's compatible is because, like I said, everything that you just gave is not only evidence for your view, it's also something which I can account for under my view. So when you say, okay, well, it doesn't make sense for this, or it doesn't make sense for that, and you just keep whining, it doesn't tell me anything, because I agree that he controls time, I agree that he's a personification of time. I understand that he understands what time is. I know all of that. I read the story as well. I probably read it more than you. So when you say, okay, well, he's a personification of time, that doesn't tell me anything. Why is that not a hyperbole? Because he can be the personification of time, he can even know more than this person self Chronos, and still make it hyperbole. And the reason for that is, like I said, you can't account for the actual scan that I sent.
Okay. If he grants that he has personification or he has control over time, how is he controlling time then? Like, I'm confused. Okay, so he's the personification of time, right? And presumably, if he's the personification and the god of time, he's going to be able to control time to some extent. Then we see like an instance of him directly interacting with time, right? Or at least creating such an effect, right? Which at least you could say that counts as interaction. And I mean, would that not just be control over time? Like, I'm confused. I'm also confused why, like, being really fast or really strong such that you create such an effect doesn't cast control over time. Yeah.
And you can argue it's possible. Because you understand all you're saying is possible, correct? That's all you're arguing.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have zero likelihood. That's what I'm saying. You have zero likelihood.
Whoa.
You just described something. Hold on. You just described something. You said, well, he's the personification of time. Stop speaking. Let me explain something to you, okay? You described something about this character, and then you said, okay, well, based on these descriptions of the character, I ought to believe that, okay, well, this is not a hyperbole. I said, okay, well, I can also take to these descriptions of the character and say that, okay, well, it's still a hyperbole, given that, okay, well, those descriptions don't even work as a likelihood increase anymore. You braid it from each other.
No, it's not retarded. I'll give you a third interpretation and show you why this is not retarded.
Right.
I can also posit that every single one of these niggas in this scan is high as fuck and all lying and trolling. That's technically possible. And if you give me a scan or some bullshit like saying that, oh, we're not high, I can also say, like, oh, they're also high in the scan and they're lying. That's also a possibility. And it's also compatible with everything we talked about. But obviously, me and you would agree that this interpretation is less parsimonious. So for you to say that the ability of the time...
No, I don't agree. I don't agree. No, I don't agree.
No basis, no evidence.
No, you keep saying that. I don't agree.
Wait, let me finish.
You don't even know what parsimony is. I don't agree.
Okay, I'll define to you what parsimony is. Parsimony is just Occam's razor.
Hold on. Parsimony is just Occam's razor? I thought Occam's razor is the principle of parsimony. Hold on. Gosh. I need to relearn.
So I don't agree with the the thing we're talking about being less parsimonious. I agree with everyone trolling and being high on drugs and just making a false thing. That obviously would be less parsimonious. So that would be the issue with that interpretation. But when you say, okay, well, this guy's the personification of time, and he's saying, okay, well, because he's the personification of time, then, okay, well, he's not making a hyperbole. That's cool, you can say that, but that doesn't, him being the personification of time is not a likelihood increasing for that, because it also is perfectly compatible, just as compatible with my interpretation, saying that, okay, well, it's...
Never mind, I thought about it for like 2 more seconds. Okay, I thought Gyro was asking him, Gyro was asking him, like, what account of parsimony was using, and then he just said Occam's razor. Never mind, guys, sorry, bro, don't butcher me, please.
Also hyperbole, while him being a personification of time. Holy fuck.
It's not about compatibility. Stop arguing for compatibility. The problem is that you keep saying compatibility and you think you did something. The problem is that you didn't do anything by saying, oh, this is compatible with what I'm saying. The problem is that the issue is that the reason why I brought this thing earlier is that you're talking about compatibility. So even the example I gave you, even though it's not as parsimonious, we both agree upon that. It's so
I don't agree. Why is my position not parsimonious?
I just said you don't agree.
Okay. So can you actually tell me why? Stop rambling.
But we agree it's still compatible because there's no contradiction in it, correct?
With what?
With this third analogy I gave you about, like, oh, they're just all high on drugs. Yes, it's less parsimonious. It's still compatible.
Obviously, yeah. Good. But then the reason why I'm saying is, let me just, you're confused a little bit, okay? So the reason why I'm saying, okay, well, this being compatible is relevant, is because outside of it being compatible, you haven't actually given any further evidence when you sort of reason for me to actually accept your interpretation. You're just saying, okay, well, here's a description, you should accept this interpretation. I'm saying, okay, well, this description works equally as well with other shit. So if you want to explain to me why my position is less parsimonious, or maybe there's more evidence for your view, because I just gave you a reason for why my position is actually more in line with the story, more in line with the scam.
No, you haven't. Let me explain to you how.
What the hell?
Because the reason why this isn't as parsimonious is because you're attributing something and a concept and an ability that's completely distinct in characteristics.
How is it distinct?
To a time-based God.
What the hell is the concept of time?
You're applying, because you're obviously, if your interpretation is true, we'd be saying that this is a speed-based ability. He's just moving super fucking fast.
Yep.
And if that's the case, that he's just moving super fucking fast, how is that connected in any way, shape, or form? The person who is described with the abilities of time. You'd also have to justify why it's hyperbolic, rather than taking the easier, simpler interpretation
Why
of
is that
just saying that the character is described as transcending time probably makes sense for a character who's described as time itself. That's a more simpler, more personal
More
concept of time applied to a time-based character rather than speed applying to something that's distinct from time. You understand why one is more parsimonious than the other? Because you have more.
Why is speed distinct from time?
So please respond.
I never said that it's a speed-based ability. I'm not saying that he says, okay, well, yeah, this guy is just transcending time, and if he's making a claim about anything, I'm just saying that whatever he said, obviously he's going to be talking about his own ability of time. And so he's describing whatever Zeus did to be something which is indexed to that time. Well, I'm just saying that whatever Zeus did, if you want to talk about speed or strength or anything else, that would be hyperbolic. It's not literally transcending time. Because when we see the ability being used in story, when he's actually throwing a punch, that isn't what we see on screen isn't expected with him actually transcending time. The way it's thematically portrayed is something which is totally different, and I already showed you why. Because generally speaking, when you use zeros, you wouldn't say, okay, well, 0 point fucking infinite other zeros after that. You would just say 0 because, like I said, it's easier, it's more straightforward. It's just generally going to be easier to understand. It's not that hard.
Two things. I was talking about when Chronos uses it, and two, we already been through the 0.00 thing. Again, I agree with you that normally nobody fucking denotes 0 as 0.0000 whatever, right? Nobody denotes 0 like that. I agree with you. But the reason why I'm saying that this is not a general case and a specific exception is to build on this narrative of the story, as I showed you guys.
That's why it's parsimonious. That's why it's parsimonious.
Wait, hold on.
Your position is parsimonious.
No, it's not less parsimonious if you have more evidence to build upon it to show you.
You don't have evidence. That's the point. The description you give is not evidence.
You obviously think that. Don't just say, "Oh, you don't have evidence." When I'm about to present you the evidence.
Okay, so you're gonna give me something new? Are you gonna give me something new?
No, one second.
Just to be clear, if you want to describe Chronos again as him being the time god or whatever, I would just conclude right now because that's not evidence. I just explained to you why that's not evidence.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm bored, bro. But yeah, I think like up until this point, Gyro is probably winning. I don't think. I mean, there was the parsimony stuff, which is what they're currently arguing about. Like, I don't think Gyro or specifically Zizou gave an accurate explanation as to why Gyro's interpretation didn't account for the evidence as well, All he's saying is that they have entirely different characteristics. There's not been an explanation as to why given. So it just seems as if he's just saying stuff, like, at this point. I will say though that, like, Zizou did better than I thought he would. Right. But yeah, that's it for the video. If you like this type of video, please remember to like and subscribe. Just be sure, and I'm out.